Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we're checking out Kimi K2 1 trillion parameter model. They have an update. September the 5th, they have an update. I do not have the hard drive space for this, but nonetheless, I have managed to quantize it myself, and I am going to be running it locally on my Mac Studio and sharing with you the results on how it does. Is it better? Is it any good? We're going to find out. In case you don't know, this model, it is meant to be very good at tool calling. So as you can see, Sui Bench 69, bang there with Qwen 3 Coder, better than DeepSeek apparently, and almost up there with Claude Sonnet. And on other benchmarks, it's winning. Look at that one, the SWE Bench Multilingual. So it's a Chinese company, and they have like over 30 million users over there, and they're smashing it. And this multilingual is winning that race. So we're going to be testing it out on Inferencer. And in case you don't know, it's actually available now to download. So if you go on the App Store, search for Inferencer, you can go ahead and get it. Look at that. Run and deeply control local models. So let's fire it up. Boom, it's right there. And we got Kimi K2 Instruct. It's the Q 3.8 edition. Previously, I ran it with Q 3.9. I do also have the 3.9 version. It's just, I found that the complexity is a 0.01 difference, but you get to save a few gigs of RAM, which helps fit it into that Mac Studio a lot better, less slowdown, all that kind of stuff. So let's just see how long it takes to load. Hello. So it's loading live. Stream out RAM, memory use is 60. Jump into activity monitor. Let's see what's going on there. Boom, it's just spiking up, getting ready to load. 120 gigs. This is gigabytes of RAM just streaming in live. It's going to take maybe about a minute to get in there. And then once it's in, it's going to be super fast, as you can see. And we are up and running, getting 25 tokens a second. I'm going to start fresh. And I have a new favorite prompt to test these babies out. And this is just a good one because pretty much, not all of them. Some of them actually did pass. I think DeepSeek might have passed, but the surgeon who is the boy's father says, I cannot operate on the boy. He is my son. Who is the surgeon to the boy? And look at it straight away there. It actually failed. It said that the surgeon is the boy's other parent, his mother. And there was only a 0.0008% chance that it could have been his father. And you might think, okay, that's pretty dumb. But if you look at all of the other models, look, ChatGPT, it says it's the boy's mother. Claude AI says it's the boy's mother. So they both failed in that riddle. The only one that actually passed is, I think, DeepSeek. That one passed. Maybe GLM as well. I have to test it again. But also Kimi Online, they know that it's the boy's father. So they probably done some extra work in their system. Maybe it's the system prompt over here. I just have the basic "you are a helpful assistant." In fact, if we just remove that system prompt, let's just leave it blank for now and ask the question again. Boom, the surgeon is the boy's father. So there you go. Modifying the system prompt can make drastic changes in the accuracy. And of course, I am quantizing this model. So let's just see how it does with 512 gigs instead of the full fat 1 terabyte of memory. So next up, we're going to do my second favorite riddle. And it's a runaway trolley, except this one has a twist, except instead of there being 5 humans alive on one side of the track and 1 human alive on the other side of the track, 5 of them have passed away, so you don't have to flip the lever anymore. Let's just hit run and see what it says. Boom, this version 25, it's 5. They already passed on, so it's already figured it out. It is fine. We are happy with this. And it runs pretty fast, so 24 tokens a second. It's boom tracking it away. I'm going to do another one that isn't code related. This is a contractual relation identification. So I'm going to just jump in this document here. This is a document of sale for a boat. So I've just copy and pasted the contract, and I'm going to be asking it, are the terms of the contract okay? Now, one of the good things about running LLMs locally is that there isn't like a context length limit. If you ever try using ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff, they usually say you need to sign in if you want to pass on this information. And of course, your information isn't private. Whereas when you run it locally, you just paste the whole document and see if it runs. So right now it says we've actually ran out of memory. So to fix this problem, I'm going to have to go in and type this magic command called sudo syscontrol IO GPU wired limit. And I'm going to increase it to 50700, which gives me 16 gigabytes of RAM free to play with. Whereas by default on the system, 512 gigabytes. it reserves 48 gigs. So I've unleashed the beast. One of the good things about this application is, well, I put in a lot of work to make sure that your computer doesn't freeze and crash if you are trying to utilize too much memory. I guess it is still possible if you try doing too much with something, but I myself have tried running like 5 different instances of the applications, trying to run all of the different models at the same time, all trying to grab as much resources. So I put a lot of kind of algorithms in there to detect how much memory is being utilized and when the system gets in a funny state, because I don't know if you've ever seen blue screens on Mac, but they're more multicolored. So I've had a lot of that when developing it, but hopefully it won't happen again, and it will just tell you that an error message will happen rather than your system freezing and all that kind of stuff. But let me know how it goes if you're testing this application out. So the contract is going to be run as soon as the model reloads. The second time it reloads, it should be slightly faster, because instead of it trying to get the files out from the SSD, it gets it from a cache in the memory sometimes. So if I go inside here, it says I've got 130 gigabytes cached, so it didn't have to load potentially the whole thing again, and the whole thing is like 500 gigabytes, so it's huge. And I am uploading it to Hugging Face, so you can download and run it yourself. So you can see right there, it says the contract is heavily skewed in the broker's favor and contains several unusual and onerous terms. I'm gonna have to put a thesaurus in this so I can actually understand what these words mean. Major red flags. Let's just turn this off. Brokerage fees are non-negotiable, are fixed. There's a bunch of stars here. Okay, actually, what I've done is I've actually introduced a parental controls. So when you do use this application for the first time, you have to turn on unrestricted modes, and you can set yourself a PIN. So if you are handing your computer down to another person, they won't be able to unlock it so easily, and you can set up extra restricted words. So let's just go back to it and see what it says. The fees are high and non-negotiable. So I think high got in as a dodgy word because of the connotations with narcotics, but yeah, maybe I need to make it a bit less flexible. So for sales, she's talking about the selling fees that you're going to get, exclusive agency, so you need to be locked in for 60 days, indemnity for the broker for any loss or liabilities, and any breach, even unintentional, it's extremely broad, goes behind. I wonder if you'll give me some advice. What would you propose I add as a revision to better protect myself? I'm getting in. Oh, boom! I just asked that question, and straight away it's given the response. So below is plain English, bulletproof set of revisions. You can email. So I might actually have to use this. So the brokerage fee should be 5%. So this guy's negotiated the fee from 10% all the way down to 5% aggressively. I like that. Or $4,000, whichever is greater. The agency is open only. Whoa. Either party may terminate the agreement immediately. The broker is liable for, actually, I might utilize this one. The broker is liable for any loss or damage because under the broker's care, unless the damage is caused by an act or omission from the seller. And the broker will maintain at its own cost marine, yacht, and trailer policy, naming the vessel full market value when the vessel is in transit or at sea. So I do actually like these terms. I think I might see what happens when I try to introduce this. Because yeah, how can a broker fully indemnify himself? Like, just say they take the boat and they crash it. Surely I'm not going to be responsible for that. They need to be having insurance and paying for that. That's good advice. I really like the comprehension of this model. I liked how fast it was. I'm going to just see if I can slow it down. I would say, can you rewrite the contract with these terms in? So we're going to see as the context length increases and increases, is it going to crash out with the memory like we had before? Because I've given it a few extra gigs now. And is it going to slow down? So we have slowed down. Originally it was going at 24 tokens a second. Now it's dropped down to a cruising 15 tokens a second. And we are at, I think, 100% intensity. So with the application, you can actually tune down the intensity. So if you are doing other things with your computer, it doesn't completely eat it when it's doing lots of background processing with it. But it's at 100% and we're getting 14.6 tokens a second. It's rewriting the contract. For a quantized model, this is chopped in half. It is very, I'm not seeing any weird characters, any weird switching to other languages. Seems to be running really, really well. So I'm actually happy with this. This is really good comprehension with the contract signed by the seller. Boom, boom, boom. Let's now do a different test. Let's do a write a story. Write a story. Just random. Let's just see what it comes up with. Boom, straight away. The Clockmaker's Apprentice. I swear every single model seems to write a story. If you give it the prompt, write a story. It's all about clocks. They're all about that. The city is of cogwheel. Time was not just measured, it was traded. Time was measured, not traded. This is actually a really good story. Actually, you are not the apprentice, he said. You're the battery. So this is a 1 trillion parameter model. We're running it intelligently quantized. I've made it utilize. Let's see how much gigabytes we've got. This exactly, just to be precise. So I've got 2 versions. It's 490 gigabytes. So I've got it from a terabyte to 490 gigabytes. That's pretty much a really good amount of memory usage for the Mac Studio, because you still have that space extra for the context window, so you can have some really intensive conversations. And with this model, they doubled their context length from 120K to 256. That's really good. So the Clockmaker can still rolls at dusk, but now it carries no gears, just a note nailed to the side. Time takes, but sometimes it gives back if you're brave enough to steal it from yourself. So really, I've got the temperature. I'm not even getting it to be creative. I've got the temperature set to 0. So that means it is 100% sticking with the most probable tokens, and it's still a general story. Maybe I'll just make that 10. I like giving a little bit of leeway just in case it wants to be a bit creative. And actually something you can also look at, you can set seeds and you can set a custom date. So by default, most of the models, when you load them and ask their messages in their chat template, they request for the current date. So most inferencing engines do give the current date to the model. That's why when you ask it what is the current date, it knows what the date is, because you always feed it in behind your back. So you can set a current date, force it, and set the seed. So that way, every single time you ask the same prompt, the same answer you're going to get. So if you set the temperature to 0, or even just set the seed and the date, you'll be getting that stuff. One thing that's interesting, and I just want to know, because I'm guessing all these models, they train on themselves, they're just copying each other. So that's why they're all tuned to clocks. So let's just see what is the most likely token for that one. So the clock and the lighthouse, I swear, I've done this a few times, it's tests, and clocks and lighthouses are very, very popular when you ask it, write me a story. But generally, it is a good result, all that kind of stuff. Next up, let's do some coding, and I guess, should we do the solar system one? Let's do the solar system one. Write me a HTML app that visualizes the solar system. Let's use 3JS. Let's just see. Boom, it's just writing out the code. It didn't tell me anything. It just sprinted out the code right away. And it's going at 22 tokens a second. We're gonna have to leave it to fully print out this page, and we're gonna see what kind of results we get. As a side-by-side comparison, I'm also gonna get this exact same prompt, and I'm gonna post it into their official website, ChatGPT, and we're gonna be doing it in Claude. And we're going to see which response is best. No, you don't have access to my microphone. Stop trying to get that stuff. So we got boom, ChatGPT. That is a very, very short. That is very short. And it doesn't even run. Thanks, chat. You know, look at this. This is actually very interesting. I think the Mac Studio is writing tokens faster than the GPUs they're using on Kimi.com, the official website. So that's very, very interesting. And Claude, how's that done? Let's write down code. This looks a bit longer than ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT was tiny. So now this is a very, very doable topic, because there's a lot of open source examples of this. I think 3JS have a demo as part of their engine to show you this solar system. So it's very, very doable. And I guess a lot of people ask this question, so they should know. But boom, that is Claude. It's got it up and running already. It's got lighting, you got haze. The sun looks a bit basic, but still it's right there. There's no textures on the planets, but there is a ring around Saturn. So that is a nice demonstration out of Claude. So we're done on the local computer. Online version is still going away. And boom, we are in over here. We have a star, the sun. We've got one planet spinning around. You got a toggle animation button, so that pauses the animation. You get to reset the camera to restart it open. What it is missing is the Earth. So that is a shame. Maybe I could have prompted it better, or maybe it should have done a better job. Let's just see how the online version has done. So the online version is very, very, very similar to the one that I'm running locally. The only difference is that we have 2 planets instead of 1. So I think the one that we got running is very, very comprehensive. Like it's definitely, there hasn't been any compile errors, any errors in this code. All that it's done differently is that the online version has got multiple planets, 3 planets over there, and the one that's running locally only has 1. And that's probably mainly due to these settings over here. So I got a temperature to 0.1. That's probably good, but maybe the system prompt, URL help for assistant. That's a very, very basic one. So what I'm going to try doing, just to make it super interesting, I'm going to take the system prompt of Claude, stick it in there, ask it again, and see if it does a better job. So the assistant is Claude. Boom, 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 boom. Let's just copy this. Massive. Look how massive it is. Let's paste it in there. Hello. What is your name? Just to confirm that it's the right person I'm talking to. It's obviously digesting that system prompt. I need to have a little bit of animation where it's doing the first token, but it's digested. You can jump in and see the activity if you press Command 4. It's already done it, but yeah, it thinks it's Claude. I've given it system prompt of Claude running on my local computer. It's writing code, so that's very impressive. 22 tokens a second, writing code. Let's see if the code has improved based purely on the system prompt change. But we saw so far, it's written a story about clocks. It's analyzed a contract that wasn't in my favor, and it's actually revised it for me. I'm gonna actually be using some of the feedback there. And yeah, and it's generated some code which didn't error out. There were no compile issues, and it's very, very close to the results that are on the actual online server. So the online server probably uses the full fat version, I assume so, or maybe it has a higher quantized version. Whereas I'm using like a barely Q4, just under Q4, just to make it fit in memory. But as you can see, there's no memory errors. It's running well. It's writing a lot of code, over 1,000 tokens written right there. And previously when I ran the contract one, that was tons and tons of tokens. You know what? I messed up. I had the token limit set to 2,000. So I should have bumped that up to 5,000. Can you add in the other planets, including a textured Earth? This enhanced version includes realistic planet sizes, orbital distances based on actual astronomical data. This has got Saturn's rings, 15,000 stars. Like, if this actually is gonna work, I'm gonna be very impressed already, just based on those boasting of it. So let's just see. Whoa! We do have something going on. Is there animation? Can I toggle it? Pause it, and you can increase it. So it has added the planets. Oh, you got asteroids. It is doing, it's not perfect. There's definitely some bugs, but look, you got Earth looking a bit green. That's nice. It's a realistic version of Earth. We live in a green ball. That's how this AI sees us, as a green blob. You got meteors everywhere. There is movements. They are moving together, and it's improved. So it's definitely something I can work with. I can jump in there. I can talk to it a bit further. Let's just see the tokens that is going on at the moment. So 17 tokens a second. It wrote 3,500 tokens. How much would this cost if you were paying for this? That's amazing. So yeah, we got something up and running. It's live. You can go check it out. I'm going to be uploading the quantized version that we're using. I do also have a slightly less quantized version, but I think this 3.5 is good enough, and it gives you the extra bit of memory to play with. It's not like it was erroring out. When I tried using GPT OSS, that guy just wouldn't error. It wouldn't work. It would say there's an error, and the version of 3JS just didn't exist, the one that they were linking. Whereas this one, everything's worked. There's no error messages. We managed to negotiate that contract together, and it didn't realize that the surgeon was the father, even though he said it was. The online version did, so maybe it's to do with the system prompt or the temperature. But that being said, Claude and ChatGPT, they failed those tests anyway. So overall, it's running, so that's good. If you're interested, you can also check out Inferencer as well. Again, it's on the App Store right now. Private, run and deeply control local AI models. And you can even get it to say things for you. So for example, I am the best. I'm the best one available. So I told it to say I'm the best, and it just started saying it, and it's just having to complete that sentence. So that's fun things you can do. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys found this video useful and enjoyed the show.